What's up, folks? You're checking out 400-meter Ron, and he's been doing this for at least a minute, maybe 2 minutes of straight rope skipping. This is his son, Ayal. Say what's up, Ayal.
What's up?
This is his daughter, 5-year-old Noah. She is a speed demon on the track, and she's learning jump rope. You guys know who this is, Coach Schwartz. And this is Ron's father-in-law. What's your name again, sir?
Avi.
Avi, my man.
Nice to meet you.
And he's no joke either. No joke on the track or on the rope. He was jumping the rope like Miguel Cotto. That's what it reminded me of.
We're just 67. So.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah. You're a young whippersnapper next to the coach. Smelodies OG. No $300 or $500 tickets were available for May. Closed circuit, I guess, Dougie. Oh yes, Melodies. That's where they're gonna make their money. I mean, the live gate. He's talking about the Canelo Alvarez Triple G rematch, May 5 at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. And no, those tickets are gone. And it'll do another record gate, but the promoters and the folks involved with this anticipated rematch, they're gonna make a lot of money on the closed circuit. For folks who want to be there in Vegas and see it live. Look at Coach go, man. Hey, Coach, it looks like you're doing your skipping rope backwards from,
Yeah, maybe.
yeah. What's up, Krostovsky? Greetings. Ortiz had him in the 7th, man. Let me tell you something. That heavyweight fight was crap for 4 rounds, and then from round 5 through round 10, it was as good as boxing gets. And yeah, I thought Wilder was out on his feet. I thought he was there for the taking, and all King Kong had to do was push him. Bernie Barmazel, thank you for joining us. Yeah, Bernie asked, is Dimitri Bivol the best at 175 pounds? And I say, no, not yet. He hasn't proven that. But I think he's better than the number 6 contender, which is where Ring Magazine had him before he stopped Sullivan Barrera in round 12 last night. I would say Bivol is top 5. Maybe, Bernie, I'm going to say Bivol is like 3 or 4. I'm not 100% sure he beats Kovalev right now, or even Adonis Stevenson. And somebody said that was the best heavyweight fight he's seen in a long time, and yeah, I would agree with that. It was fun. How old is Ortiz for real? I don't know. I mean, he's not too old to have taken Deontay Wilder life and death. He's still a top contender, I think. Luis Ortiz. Who hits harder, Wilder or Akinwande? I would say Deontay Wilder was a bigger puncher than Akinwande. You out of here, Ron? All right, man.
All right, guys.
Good to see you.
Good time.
See you, Ron.
Good weekend.
Nice to see you guys.
Hey.
Nice seeing you. Next time. Take care. All right, man.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure. Have a good Sunday.
Thank you.
Bye, kids.
You guys take your jackets and stuff?
Keep running.
Hey, is this yours?
Keep skipping rope. Keep doing ballet and playing soccer. That was to Noah. Seriously, keep it up.
That's an athletic family.
Yeah. Well, now he's doing basketball now. Kovalev looked really good last night also. That's what I'm saying. I'm not 100%. The form that Kovalev has now, he's a true boxer puncher, and his form is there. I think his technique and form is better than ever, and the power is still there. The damaging quality to his punches is still there. So I'm not 100% sure that Bivol would beat Kovalev if they were to fight this year. Kovalev's probably hit his ceiling though. He's not going to get any better at age 34, but Bivol at age 27, he's gonna improve a lot over the next year and a half, 2 years.
Who do you like in a Ward Kovalev rematch?
In a Ward, I would go with Kovalev with the form he's showing right now. And I don't think it's good for a fighter to keep retire and then come back, or take all this time off and come back. It takes something away from him. And Wilder has that one-hitter quitter power for sure. Now, I've been telling people for years, even when Wilder was knocking out Ham and Eggers and 3rd and 2nd tier heavyweights, when you see him live and you see that snap on his shots, that reflexive power, it's explosive, it's shocking, and it's definitely for real. He is a world-class puncher, Deontay Wilder I'm talking about, and I think he can knock out anybody he hits clean. Because if you look at Luis Ortiz, real thick dude, real thick neck, He's never been hurt before in a prize fight. And Wilder was able to dent that chin and eventually stop him. This guy says, I still think the judges had it way wrong. Okay. And Boxing King 1 says, Wilder got extra time to recover after he was hurt. Did you notice? Of course I noticed that. And I could tell Paulie Malignaggi wanted to criticize that because he was like, what the hell's going on? But he's got to kind of be political or whatever. But yeah, that was weird. Yeah, he got a little breather. I think it was at the start of round 8 maybe. But still, Ortiz should have jumped on him hardcore. Should have gone for broke in that 8th round because the opportunity was there for him to score a knockout. But the truth is that A, Wilder gets respect on his punches, and B, Ortiz started to gas out after 6 or 7 rounds.
He was in shape.
Al Heyman says Boxing King 1. Of course. Beck's best boxing analysis. He must be talking about you, Coach. This is Harari or whatever. Sorry, I'm butchering your Instagram handle there. So, Coach, you got some questions for me? You want me to start skipping some rope? I feel guilty. I was watching you guys skip rope for all that time.
Go over to the other. We can
walk over there.
We can talk. Well,
sure.
You can keep the camera.
Of course, I keep it rolling.
Over there.
It's kind of like, hey, folks, it's kind of like we got the track to ourselves. That's rare.
Pretty much.
Terry Sampson, Bivol looked great. Yes, he did. He is something else. And Boxing King 1, Wilder has a chin, took some good ones. Wilder does not have a world-class chin, Boxing 1. He's got world-class recuperative abilities. He gets hurt when he gets nailed, and it's not necessarily by flush power shots. And somebody said something about Paulie Malignaggi being an excellent commentator, and I agree. Rich says, I would have picked Joshua before last night against Wilder, but not now. I still like AJ. I like AJ big in that fight. Yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing about Deontay Wilder, and then we can walk over there, Coach. Wilder is there to be hit. He does not have a great chin, but he's dangerous when he's hurt. And the thing is if you rush in for the kill, you leave yourself open to being countered by him, being clipped by him, and he still has his power even when he's on wobbly legs. And if you play it smart and you don't rush in, you give him the opportunity to recover, because I think he recovers very quickly.
Plus, he has the desire.
Yes.
Wow, that guy.
Yeah.
He showed me a lot last night.
Oh yeah, he's got heart.
But I think it looked bad there for a little bit, and still I think.
And the thing is Luis Ortiz wasn't really doing a whole lot either. But for 4 rounds, Luis Ortiz was winning, but by doing very little.
But I really like Joshua much more now than I did before.
Same here.
Night.
I'm with
thought, you know, that there was a lot of money at stake there.
I know.
Wow,
no, listen,
I mean, huge.
The boxing industry takes a big sigh of relief because, hey, what's a bigger fight? Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, or Anthony Joshua versus Luis Ortiz?
Yeah.
Come on, it's no contest. Joshua Ortiz. But here's the thing. Joseph Parker could still upset this whole thing. I mean, Parker's a live dog against AJ, in my opinion.
Yeah, we don't know really how good AJ is.
No, we don't. No, I mean, what does he have, 20 fights?
But I like him a lot.
Me too.
I really like him.
What's not to like?
But the fights last night, I mean, that's why Tom's not here. We all watched the fights together. We're all drained. I mean, we watched the UFC also.
Wow, that's too much combat sport. That's overload.
I'm not a UFC fan, but it was incredible last night.
Reminded me so much of Joshua versus Klitschko last night. That's what Exio say, and I agree. Did I mess that word up?
A little less drama, though.
Exisco, yeah.
It was, but it was a great night. JP went really big on Bivol by knockout.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Big.
So he's happy.
And the heavyweight fight.
I thought for sure that fight was going the distance after about like the 5th or 6th round.
I got to tell you though, I love Bivol against Kovalov.
Really?
Kovalov,
I don't think he's ready yet.
I don't know. Kovalov.
AJ Wilder lands somewhere in September this year. Krastovsky, come on, that is some wishful thinking. Oh my, you really think?
No,
you think they're gonna get a fight that big together that quickly? Nah, look, that's what they should do. But I know Eddie Hearn's plan is he wants AJ to fight in the United States first, and they're talking about coming back in the summer against Big Baby, Jarrell Miller in the New York City area. That's what I've been hearing. Now they could change it. Yeah, hope. Hey, Krastovsky. Yeah.
So
Bernie says Coach knows. Hashtag BVOL 175 boss.
No, I like BVOL.
Yeah, you know what, Bernie, Coach might be right. But I think if I was managing the career of BVOL, I would not be in a rush to make Kovalev BVOL this year. However, I have heard that is possible, Coach, for the month of September at Madison Square Garden. I know Madison Square Garden wants that fight.
No, I like Bivol a lot, and I don't like Kovalev that much. He still seems just real fragile to me. You know,
yeah, Bivol's hand speed will give Kovalev trouble. That's true, but Kovalev's got some decent hand speed. He's looking better athletically and just technically. I've never seen Kovalev this competent, but we do have to keep in mind the level of his opposition.
Also, he's probably there's less vodka involved right
yes,
now.
absolutely, and less drama. Yeah, he seems like he's got his head together. Too early for Bivol, says AZZ, financially. Okay. And Exisco says, would Stevenson had beat Kovalev last night? I don't know about that. Stevenson has really been milking it. I mean, Kovalev's last two opponents have been, non-contenders, right? But Stevenson's for the last several years, has been fighting guys who are not in his class. So
let's just move over this.
Maybe he's gotten soft. I don't know. Here's the thing: we're going to find out about Stevenson when he steps in there with Badu Jack. Everybody, that is, I kind of like. I'm feeling Badu Jack, to be quite honest. Stupid, we never saw that fight. Yep, that's boxing for you. Stevenson versus Jack. Who you got, Boxing King? I got Jack. But maybe I don't know jack shit. Bivol reminds me of King Kostya for some reason. Well, they both have, they're both Central Asian Russians with Korean, one Korean parent. Kostya Zhu's father was Korean, and Dmitry Bivol's mother is Korean. So that seems to be a pretty good mix, You get that Russian and Korean Triple G, exactly. It's like you mix that up a little bit. What do you got? You got a badass in the boxing ring. Yeah.
Hey, so
how about Jack versus Kovalev? Oh, I love that. I don't know who wins that fight.
I mean, did you notice at the press conference, for Canelo, Triple G? I mean, Canelo is such the A side.
Yeah.
Everything's about Canelo.
Everything. Canelo.
Although I thought.
But here's the thing: Golovkin doesn't want to engage with that stuff. Like they would, I think the promoters would like to play him up more, but he wants to get this stuff over with and get to camp and start training. He doesn't like all that stuff between Abel Sanchez and Canelo going back and forth. Golovkin doesn't care for that. He just he's fine if other people do it, but he doesn't want people to expect him to engage in that kind of thing. He doesn't care for that. In a year and a half, who do you think will stand atop the light heavyweight division? Probably Dmitry Bivol, but I don't know for sure. You know what, people? It's a very talented division because apart from Kovalev and Bivol, you got the nail. You got Gvozdyk, you've got Stevenson and Jack, and you have Artur Beterbiev. So it's a packed division. A lot of people are picking Canelo in the rematch. I don't blame them. Gvozdyk could be the spoiler. I agree. Exisco said that. Yeah, you're smart. You smart! Krastovsky, Triple G will start his camp simultaneously with Gassiev. Yes, they're both training in Big Bear together right now, and they've been training for at least 2 weeks. They didn't just start it. They've been training. Yeah.
So who do you think has the advantage on the adjustments for the Triple G Canelo fight?
I don't think either guy's got an advantage. I think they both know what they have to do. I think they both just need to make little adjustments. I don't think they need to just change the whole thing because both guys, their game plan worked well enough for, Golovkin to win in the eyes of the majority of observers, but for Canelo to not only go the distance, but to be competitive and to actually win legitimately in the eyes of some people, but in the eyes of a lot of the public. He acquitted himself well enough to where they didn't have a problem with the draw verdict. They just had a problem with Adelaide Bird's scorecard, which is, of course, understandable. Uzcategui got his justice. Dude is awkward but fun to watch. I agree. Love to see him fight Benavidez. That's what they're working on, but I think first he has to fight Caleb Truax for the full IBF title. Do you think Ward stays retired seeing the division heating up like this? I think he will come back if somebody emerges as a big star and a light heavyweight fight with that person enables Ward to make like at least $5 million. If not, I think if he comes back, he'll like go to cruiserweight or like a small heavyweight and fight somebody like Tony Bellew. No Trust versus DeGale rematch. You mean Truax? Yeah. No. That's a rematch first. Truax has to fight DeGale, and then the winner of that fight would have to fight what's his name? Whoever just won the IBF title, Uzcategui. Regarding changes before rematch, can Triple G simply outbox Canelo? Yeah, I thought he did so the first time. He out-jabbed him. I thought he outpointed him. Yeah, here's what Triple G needs to do. Start faster. Don't be so tight in the early rounds. Yeah, and go to the body when you can.
But you know, the ref had a lot to do with that fight. I was reading some comments from people. That ref was on Triple G's butt the whole time.
Yeah, but
and Canelo was
you can't use that. You can't use that as an excuse, Dave. You can't.
No,
I mean, like,
I think it has something to do with it.
Yeah, but I mean, but everyone says that about the rematch between Kovalev and Ward, and people who like Ward, they don't buy it. They're like, so what? The ref didn't count body shots or was on Kovalev's ass. As a fighter, you got to deal with that. You can't let that get into your head, and if you let that get into your head, guess what? You're letting that opponent get into your head. You're letting the fact that that opponent is the A side and is getting preferential treatment, which, by the way, is true in both cases. I believe Ward and Canelo received preferential treatment in Las Vegas, and that's why a lot of us are very critical of the director of the athletic commission there, Bob Bennett, is because it's kind of obvious they show favoritism, and that's no good. That's bad for the sport. So is Bob and Oscar trying to make Linares versus Loma again? Yes. Is he giving us the runaround again? Probably. Bernie, can you ask the coach how he feels about Regis Prograis facing Julius Indongo this Friday? It's on Showtime. Hey, yeah, I tell you what, I like Regis. And Indongo's not a bad substitute for Victor Postol. In fact, I think maybe Indongo's a little bit of an easier assignment than Postol because he's coming off a second-round knockout, or three-round knockout to Terrence Crawford, but he's more aggressive, and that gives Regis Prograis more of an opportunity to get off with his shots. I don't know what you think, Coach. He didn't ask my opinion, but I gave mine anyways. I do that, Bernie. Bernie's rolling his eyes right now. Shut up, Doug.
Where are you, Bernie?
Yeah, where? You should be here.
Hey,
you should be here. Yeah, Bernie's probably back in Chicago.
And Tom Loeffler is tired.
Prediction for Joshua Parker. I'll let you go, Coach.
No, we watching those fights last night was so incredible, but so draining. You know, switching 3 different channels.
It's too much. It's hard to watch. I was just trying to. I was drained just watching 2 boxing matches and trying to post up immediate results and work my Twitter account. I like AJ by decision. How about that, folks? I think Parker takes Joshua the distance for the first time. Mikey has a tough fight. Do you agree with that, Mikey Garcia? I don't
at all.
Yeah, Lipinets didn't impress me. It's like
I thought he looked pretty bad.
Yeah, I think. See, listen, I don't want to say Mikey Garcia is cherry picking because Lipinets is not a pushover and he is a world title holder, but that's a tailor-made fight, if you ask me. Seems Brook found his confidence once again. Hell, yeah, you know, Brook is no joke. He ain't no joke. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight one of the 154-pound Charlo, Jermell. Boxing King 1 says, "Really? What are you saying really to?" I don't know what that's in response to. 2 months in, your prediction, will 2018 be as good or better than 2017? I think it's going to be a little bit better. I think it'll be a little bit better.
It's real good.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see the Linares fight.
They're working on it. I think what they're trying to do is get it's got to be on ESPN. So what they want to do is they want it that broadcast to be early, so it doesn't counter-program HBO, which is fair.
That makes sense.
And as a fan, I want that. As a fan, I don't want them happening at the same time. I mean, you know, Mikey should have fought Omar. Okay. Oh, Omar Figueroa Jr. That would have been a fun. Hey, that would have been a big fight in Texas. That would have been a real big fight, a lot bigger than Garcia Lipinets is in Texas. Jeez, yeah, because Figueroa Jr. is from Texas, and obviously of Mexican descent.
You know,
but he's got his date with Broner.
the Garcias need someone to help them. I mean, they're like,
Juanma should call it a day. Yeah, he should have called it a day 10 years ago, homeboy. That's
okay,
crusty.
so I got a few questions for you,
All
but
right.
here's the only thing: if I won't be able to read the
Yeah,
questions.
that's okay. They're repeating. You guys are all repeating yourselves, anyways. Coach can't see.
Oh, look how you're putting them down.
I am, but they are. They're repeating
No, that's
themselves.
okay.
It's like, ask me something different, man.
Okay.
I expected more questions, people, about or more comments on the heavyweight fight, but I think most people were satisfied. Most people were entertained, and that's what it's all about. All right, you got it. You like that screen? Isn't that better? Remember my old one?
Yeah.
What the hell?
So I can see here. So I'm not a big UFC fan, but the other night when I turn on the TV, it's on the station that has first they have NASCAR, which I'm not into. So
You're not into NASCAR?
well, I'm not into it, but
That's un-American.
yeah, I know. So it's a real redneck sport,
Oh, that's stereotyping.
and so but it's good. So I watched they were interviewing the guy after the race.
Yeah.
It was great.
Really?
I think
Hold on. I got my keys up in
and he was explaining all about the strategy, and I really liked it. And it went right.
There's a lot of strategy, a lot of skill
Yeah,
and strategy.
and it was very good. And then it went right from there. They went to the weigh-in for the UFC, which was so good.
Oh yeah, they really do those things right.
They had their act together.
Oh man.
And then last night when we were watching them, my favorite guy in all of boxing is Bruce Buffer.
Oh yeah.
I love him. The guy is incredible. And
But Bruce Buffer is MMA world. He's not really boxing.
so the UFC fight was this one guy broke his knee
Ew.
and continued and couldn't get off the ground and won the fight.
Yeah, that's something you can do there, right? You can just stay on the ground.
He won.
Yeah.
And so it was
How am I looking?
incredible. You're looking good.
Yeah.
You're looking really good. So, okay, so I got a few more things, okay?
Windy out here. Are you going to be able to see your paper?
Okay.
We're so spoiled out here.
How, well, I mean, here it's going to be,
I've been complaining that it's cold,
Yeah.
and people on the East Coast are like, dude, shut
well,
up.
yeah, but it's not even going to hit 70 today.
I know, and to me, that's like, it's cold.
I mean, it's going to be like 66 or
It's
7
chilly
today, and
today.
we're complaining.
Yeah. It's sad.
So, okay.
It's sad what happens to
Okay.
you when you move
How
out here.
old would Pascal Perez be?
Pascal Perez. I guarantee you, 99.9% of the people watching this Periscope have no clue who that guy is.
Okay. Well, let me
But
ask
he's an all-time great flyweight
and
from
where's
South
it-
America.
From where?
Where's Pascal Perez? I'm going to say he was from Argentina.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
What a tradition Argentina has.
I know.
Oh, wow. Sawed off dude. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was a former flyweight champ.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's even still alive, but
He died a long time ago.
yeah, Pascal Perez. I'm gonna say he was part of that very underrated decade of the '60s. So he probably was in his prime around then, which means back then you're in your prime in your 20s, like
Yeah.
after 30-year-olds. So that's the '60s. He was probably in his 20s. 60, let's see, 70, 80, 90s, 2000, 2010s. So I'm going to add about 50 years to 25. You see how my mind works?
No, that's good.
but
This is-
I'm going to add a little more. I think he's older than 75.
It's a math
Would have
course.
been older than 75. I'm going to say early 80s. I'm going to say 80. He would be no. I'm going to say late 70s. I'm going to say late 70s.
Yeah.
I'm going to say he would have been 79.
Yeah, 92.
92! Whoa! What
Okay,
the?
so listen to this though. So he
Wait,
was,
so how old was when did he win his was it
You know,
50s?
he
50s?
let's see. But here's the thing. So
Or maybe
he was
turned pro at an advanced age.
and who did he fight from Thailand?
I don't know.
Yeah, you know.
Pone, Kipchak,
Yeah,
Kip,
exactly. Yeah.
King,
And how many times did he fight him?
3 times?
Twice?
You know, might have been twice for sure,
Yeah.
and one of them was at the Olympic Auditorium in LA.
Get out of here!
Yeah.
Wow.
And so
Thai
here's
guys,
the thing.
Thai guys coming to kick ass back
This
then.
guy, Pascal Perez, is one of the all-time greats.
Yes.
He was incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so his first 23 fights
Yeah.
that he fought, guys,
Yeah.
12 of them were making their pro debuts,
Okay.
and one other guy had one win.
Yeah.
So his first 23 fights,
Yeah.
total of all the fighters had one win.
Yeah.
So is
well,
that-
that's if you go by box rec, but I guarantee you those guys had more than one fight or that. They just don't. It was like back in Argentina and the records, you know, they can't verify the records, but
So who's your favorite boxing person from Argentina?
Carlos Monzon, even though he was a monster, you know.
How about Emil Brusa?
Oh, boxing person, yes.
Yeah.
Brusa, and I met Brusa,
Yeah.
and, you know, I got to talk to him.
We used to
and-
see him every day.
Yeah, and he was a real nice guy, and he loved to talk about the all-time greats, but even the current fighters of the game. I used to talk to Bruce about Bernard Hopkins, who he had a lot of respect for, and he would always show me. He had like a record book of all of like the daily routine of all his fighters. And he would keep track of what they ate and how many hours of sleep they had and how
many rounds they
how many
boxed?
rounds,
Which are very few.
and very few. Yeah, he was a proponent of not overtraining, so he wouldn't allow his fighters to spar more than 4 rounds at a time.
3 or 4 rounds.
Which is very rare. Like most, you see a lot of guys to get in shape, they'll spar way more than 4 rounds, and like. They like to at least once. They like to peak in their sparring at like 10 or 12 rounds, so they feel like okay, I can definitely fight the distance, you know, whatever the distance is going to be. And he was against that, but he was Bruce. I'll tell you who learned a lot from Bruce without actually training with him were the Klitschko brothers, because they used the same gym, the La Brea Boxing Academy. And they would just sit and they would watch Amilcar Brusa and some other old timers like Don Hamilton and watch what they would do with their fighters, and then they would just practice it themselves. They were like real students like that. They learned from everyone. They learned from their coaches. They learned from their sparring partners. They used to employ Tony Tubbs, the former heavyweight title holder from Ohio, and he was way past his prime. And like they would spar with him, but they wouldn't punch him.
Yeah.
You know, they would just have him kind of like jab against them, and as they're sparring, he would talk to them about different types of jabs. Well, this is a backhand jab. This is a quick jab. Here's a jab to the stomach. You know, you do this and different things like that. And so they were just constantly absorbing the knowledge around them. They took advantage of being in a different boxing and gym culture, and they picked up a lot.
They were mesmerized by Don Hamilton.
Yeah.
The Klitschkos would just watch him train his guys.
Yeah.
Forever.
I would
Just
watch
sitting-
them,
Yeah.
watch him,
Yeah.
and then I'd come in a week later, and I would see Vitaly Klitschko, who's being inducted in the International Boxing Hall of Fame this summer. I would watch him do the exact same thing by himself on the heavy bag that Don Hamilton was showing, you know, some kid from St. Louis, you know.
Yeah.
Ryan. That's what I'm thinking of.
Right.
Remember Ryan?
Ryan Davis.
Ryan Davis, yeah. Right. Yeah.
He was
Amazing. It's really
he did
incredible.
a lot with these
But yeah,
guys.
Amilcar Brusa, definitely my favorite person from Argentina. My all-time favorite boxer from Argentina, however, is Carlos Monzon.
Yeah.
I used to have all of his title fights on VHS tape. What's up, Samir? Samir's a superstar now. He was on stage with
Hey,
Triple G.
Samir. Oh, you're on stage.
Yeah,
Really?
and he was when I interviewed Golovkin on Monday for whatever promotional purposes or for some kind of documentary or whatever that Golden Boy is producing. He was the guy who was kind of helping to translate my very long-winded questions. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and somebody from Golden Boy got on Triple G's nerves. like our interview ended, and he was like, "Ask him something else. Ask him something. Ask him if he likes Canelo, or if he likes Canelo as a person, or if he likes Canelo as a person or a boxer, or ask him if he likes it." And Gennady turns
Yeah.
around like, why don't you ask him? You know him better than me. I'm like, yeah, like, dude, like,
Or
don't get on Triple G's nerves, man.
Or ask him if he likes Canelo's hair.
Yeah, exactly. I
Hey,
mean, it's
remember when Canelo fought Mayweather and he had a
Well, you know, his hair's doing kind of a poofy thing for this fight. He's got a bit of a pompadour, not quite a pompadour,
Yeah.
but it's kind of, you know, there's some product in there.
But that was embarrassing at the
yeah.
Mayweather fight.
He was a
I don't
kid.
know what he's
Early, you do dumb things when
He
you're
was
in your
young.
early 20s, you know.
And you know, my favorite guy in boxing is Chris Algieri.
Oh yeah.
And I gave him a chance against Pacquiao until
saw
I found out he was taking his hairstylist
Yeah.
to the fight. Then
Yeah.
I knew it's all over.
Yeah.
He had no chance. But you know, he trained Barrera.
Who did?
You know, he helped train Barrera for last night. Sullivan Barrera.
Algieri did?
Yeah. He was his
He helped
nutritionist.
train him or his nutritionist?
Yeah, nutritionist, and he came in right away. I thought
Yeah.
he looked good.
Barrera, looked, he
Yeah.
looks big.
But he came in,
Yeah.
but Chris
But
Algieri.
Bivol is just such a talent. Better footwork,
Oh, he's
nice
good.
and fast, and for at least first half of the fight, I thought his combinations were excellent. You know. Then he got a little tired. I noticed it, and you started to see the swelling and stuff on the face. You're gonna have to be careful with his face because he cuts. And I don't know what caused that. There was something, a big bump above his left eye, and he had, of course, he had the cut from the headbutt. So he's got a, you know, he's not untouchable.
How's your camera work? You want it?
Sure. Yeah. That way I can
Thank you,
read
sir.
this because the wind
Yeah,
is.
no problem.
Yeah, we got this winter storm here right now. Look at that.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to ask Dougie another birthday. Okay, these are two guys whose birthday is today, and they're both they were born they're the same age exactly. John Mugabe and our man Boom Boom Ray Mancini.
Really? He had a brain
Today.
Okay.
And they're both the same age.
Huh. Wait, they're both the same age?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. It's funny. I think of Mancini as being from a different era, but I guess it's because
He was young.
yeah. But they were both 80s. They're both 80s fighters. But Boom Boom earlier in the decade, and Mugabe had his big shining moment against Hagler in the middle, like 86. Yeah. And he stuck around a lot longer than Ray did. So they're both the same age, okay. I was born in 1970. Now I remember watching Ray. I remember hearing about Ray like 79, so he was already a fighter. And definitely remember watching him on TV in the early 80s. So he was in his early 20s because he retired at like 25.
Yeah.
He retired really young. He was a young champion. So I'm going to say, how many years is he older than me? Let's say it's like 10 or... I'm going to say they're both 60.
Close, 57.
Oh, 57. Yeah. Wow, so he was younger than I thought.
Hey, but Ray looked so good. I mean, he was so smart to quit like that. Because
yeah.
he was in tough fights.
He did well, though. I mean,
He's a great guy. And he's smart. He's real smart. But he looks better than ever now.
yeah, he does.
That's really good. Okay, I'll give you this one. Billy Backus.
How old is he?
His
Billy
birthday-
Backus, yeah,
Tomorrow.
former welterweight champ.
Yeah.
Upset Jose Napoles
Where was that fight?
when he beat him.
Yeah.
Was it Syracuse?
Yeah.
It's close to his home. Yeah, close to his home. And then, of course, Napoles came back and got him in the rematch because he's an all-time great. Backus is older. Backus is probably like my dad's age. I'm gonna say Backus is 70. 75. Wow. Billy Backus, 75.
Okay. And tomorrow is Freddie Roach's birthday.
Really?
Freddie. How old is he?
60.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll say 59, 60.
58.
58.
He's looking good too lately.
So Freddie's like he's 10 years older than me.
He's doing good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he seems good. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give you this fight. This was. When did you move to California?
1993.
Okay. So this fight was March 5th, 1994. That's when we just had the earthquake, the freeway was down.
I was here for that.
Yeah, okay.
Made me want to move the hell out.
Okay.
Like, what the hell am I doing here?
This fight was in LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
There were 3 fights in this card. It was the reopening of the Grand Olympic Auditorium.
Okay. Okay. So the main event is Oscar De La Hoya and Johnny Bredel, or Bredal, from Denmark. Yeah.
Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy. Yeah, he had a brother, Johnny. Yeah. Brother, the Johnny was actually better. So Jimmy Bredal, yeah, that was for the WBO 130-pound title.
That's Oscar's first title.
Yes, Oscar's first title.
Okay.
And then we had James Toney defending the IBF super middleweight belt against Tim Littles. That was exciting. Yeah. He had to knock him out because he was sustaining these cuts.
And why was James Toney upset?
Because James Toney felt he should have been in the main event, not Oscar De La Hoya. I guess I get it.
And who was in one of the preliminaries?
What was that?
You know this one. Who was in one of the preliminaries? Another.
Bronco McCart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Against him.
Was it Skipper Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah. and Bill Miller? Was Bill Miller training both guys?
Yeah.
And both guys were still with Jackie Callan at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glory days, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Jimmy Bredal brothers.
Okay. How about March 1st, 2003, in Las Vegas? This guy wins the WBA heavyweight title.
In March of 2000 and
March
what?
1st, 2003.
2003. March 1st.
The guy came up in weight.
Oh, okay. So this is, I remember this vividly. Gosh, I was there all week. That was when Roy Jones Jr. went from light heavyweight to heavyweight and beat John Ruiz. Yeah. That was a pay-per-view.
Yeah. So he became heavyweight champ. He was undefeated. Wait, is he undefeated?
Yeah.
Was he undefeated?
Hang on 1 second. I'm going to spit. No, Roy wasn't undefeated. And he had that one disqualification loss.
Griffith,
Yeah. But that fight is special to me because we had started Max Boxing in late 2000. Well, we started it in early 2001, and we had started our membership, our subscription service, late 2001, and it was slow. People were slow to sign on. They're like, no, the internet should be free, and what am I paying for? And at the time, our big selling point was we had Michael Katz. So we're like, if you're a Michael Katz fan, if you've been watching this guy, if you've been reading this guy's columns since whatever, for 15, 20 years, if you want to read them now, you got to pay us. You got to be a subscriber. So we had all of the Katz fans that were willing to pay to read him, but we didn't have much else. So we started making more and more exclusive video content, members only. And something happened at the weigh-in for the Roy Jones Jr. fight. If you remember, John Ruiz's trainer-manager, Norman Stone, was a nutcake. He was a Boston crazy. A great personality and a tremendous interview. One of my favorite interviews in boxing all time. And he was a loudmouth. He was going on or whatever. And Alton Murkison, who was Roy Jones' trainer, usually like a really quiet guy, real even-tempered dude. I don't know what happened, but he got mad and he clocked Norman Stone, and almost knocked him off this platform that they were doing the weigh-in at, and I don't know what happened. I think they carried Stoney out on a stretcher. It looked kind of orchestrated, but it was crazy and it was wild, and we were there to get it all on tape. And so we put that up, you know, like just the raw stuff, the raw Malay, what do you call it, Malay? Yeah. And people started signing up like crazy just to see that footage. And then we had even more people sign up the day of the fight. You know what I mean? So, and it started a pattern that whenever there was a big pay-per-view fight, we would get a ton of sign-ups the week of the fight and even the night of the fight. But that was the first one where we had kind of an explosion of sign-ups. And so that whole day Friday before the fight, we would get a little notification on our cell phones. It would buzz like we got a text message every time somebody would sign up for like a $5 membership. And our phones were buzzing and buzzing, and Steve Kim and I were like, money, it's money, you're doing it, you know. And we did well. You know, it grew from that point. It grew from early 2003 through, I would say, it was about 1 or 2 years. It grew, I think, from all through 2003 and all 2004, it grew. And I would say it peaked about the time of the Bernard Hopkins-Oscar De La Hoya fight. But we stayed pretty strong through 2005, and then there was a decline.
You had 8,000 subscribers?
Yeah, that was what we peaked out at. Yeah. Maybe about 8,500.
Wow.
That was a lot of money. We had a lot of overhead, but we were making a lot of money for a while.
Yeah. Pardon the interruption.
What's up?
Blast from the past.
Blast from the past?
Yesterday I was teaching, or Friday, I was teaching at Bancroft Middle School, and a fight broke out on the playground, so I went over to help the phys ed teacher break it up. And at lunchtime I was talking to him. He was a fighter from the 70s, Chuchu Maleve.
Chuchu Maleve?
He was
I don't know that name.
Number 3 ranked lightweight in the world in the early 70s.
Okay.
And he was fighting Ken Buchanan. He says he had him beat in the 4th round, but they let him out. He said it was a long count.
Long count.
Yeah.
They brought Scottish officials over here, or was he in Scotland?
I think his brain has
He's in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right, I'm going to look that up.
And he made $3 million for that fight.
No, he didn't. He didn't make any money at all. But had he won that fight, he would have fought Durant next.
Yeah.
He's probably lucky. He didn't.
Maybe Buchanan did him a favor.
Yeah, I was going to say, he might have permanent brain damage if he won.
All right.
Sounds like he does, anyway.
So then he became an actor. He's a good-looking guy, became an actor. Always played in boxing movies, in a couple of Rocky movies. He was in The Main Event. He was Ryan O'Neal's sparring partner in The Main Event. He was in Dog Day Afternoon.
Don't you mean like actor/waiter?
What's he doing now?
Well, he never made it as an actor. Never made it as a boxer. But
You do.
Married with 3 kids.
Yeah. And he drives an Uber.
No. It's just a sad story, but it's sort of happy ending. So he had dropped out of high school. He's Italian and Puerto Rican. He had dropped out of high school to pursue a boxing career. It never really worked out. So after, he got no money coming in, his wife leaves him with his daughters, and he ends up homeless in Venice here, sleeping in people's carports.
And he's never been happier.
No, wait. You got to stop interrupting, bro. So at the age 52, he goes and gets his GED. He's the oldest high school senior in the country at age 52. He finishes the one class he needs to get his high school degree. Then he goes to Cal State Northridge and gets an education degree. Now he's teaching at Bancroft Middle School.
Good for him.
Anyway, he just wrote his memoirs.
Nice.
He was kind of a celebrity. He had a thing for New York. I saw a fight in the Golden Gloves in the early 70s. And I said, I remember that. My dad used to take that every year. And I remember there was this white guy, long blonde hair, with a huge left. He just knocked everyone out with his big left. He said, that was John Mahoney. And he didn't make it as a fighter, he became a New York City cop like the rest of his family. He was, the singer Eddie Money. His real name's Eddie Mahoney. That's his cousin.
Wow.
But I said, I remember the guy with the long blonde hair knocking people out with his left hand.
All right, so Chuchu
Maleve.
Maleve. All right, I'm gonna look that up.
You'll find it. He's
How am I doing, Samir?
Pretty good. The Boxing Records website.
Cool.
All right,
man.
Thanks a lot. Speaking of heavyweights,
This when these ball bearings get kind of like rusted or whatever, this thing starts to should be able to go longer.
Is that mine?
I don't know. I think it's mine.
Okay, so speaking of heavyweights, who made their pro debut March 6, 1985?
Heavyweights, March 6, 1985. A notable heavyweight who made his pro debut. Not a notable? Very notable. Sorry, okay, 1985.
Albany, New York.
Oh, this is probably Mike Tyson.
Yeah. What's the name of the guy?
How crazy is that? You know why it's hard for me to fathom Tyson turning pro in 85? Because he won his first title in 86. They moved this guy along, man. Come on, let's fight.
It was all great, though.
That's crazy. 1 year, this dude.
So who did he fight in his pro debut?
Something Mercedes? That's the guy's name? Last name is Mercedes. I forget his name. Who is Mercedes? Hector Mercedes, yeah. Isn't that a cool name, Hector Mercedes?
The best. And what was Hector's record going into that fight? 0-3.
0-3.
And what was Hector's? Okay, Hector wound up having 11 fights altogether in his career. What was his record?
I'm gonna say he won a couple. Probably. I'm gonna say he, out of 11 fights, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he was 5-1.
Yeah, he was 1-10.
Oh, Hector! Come on!
And he got KO'd.
Tyson ruined him. Yeah, I know he died early.
He
Yeah.
got KO'd five times. Okay, I'm going to give you this one. This is March 4th. That's today, 2006. Manchester, England.
Been there.
Okay.
Love it.
This guy, it was for the. Anyway, it was for super middleweight title.
Yeah.
It was a 12-round decision that shouldn't have gone to a decision. Ruined a career.
Oh, gosh. This has got to be Joe Calzaghe and Jeff Lacey.
Right. Wow. That was painful
brutal
to watch.
Yeah, I
wasn't it?
watched it at Rennerek.
Yeah.
I remember.
That was painful, and Lacey never, ever.
And Lacey had so much momentum going in that fight.
Everyone thought he was going to win. I think he was the favorite.
He was, I think, 3-1. Calzaghe, no joke. When that guy got serious about a fight, forget about it. What a talent. What a talent.
So you got everything right.
Nah, not really. I was pretty far off with those birthdays.
Yeah, the
Folks
birthdays.
were older than I thought they were.
Anyway, so you go back. You had a tough couple of weeks there, didn't you?
Busy.
Yeah, I noticed. It takes its toll.
Sure. Did the all-day interviews on Monday with not just Triple G, but Tom and Oscar De La Hoya and Garrett Gomez and all of Team Canelo, and then of course the next day was the big press conference, and then on Thursday we drove to Pacific Palisades to visit my boyhood idol, Sugar Ray Leonard, because he's the guest editor of the magazine that's going to come out before the Canelo Triple G rematch. So
Did
we
you
went
go
to
his house?
Yeah, wow, beautiful place. He's a great guy.
He's the
oh
best.
my gosh, yeah. So he did it. I had Steve Kim do a sit-down interview with him. I think we just asked for half an hour. He probably gave us an hour,
Yeah.
and then for another hour, he was talking to Steve and I. We're going around and looking at the memorabilia and the pictures on the wall in his gym, and there's a story behind everything, and it's just amazing. And he's so honest.
Totally.
And it's just amazing. Like, he's
he's honest with himself.
he's
know.
100% honest with himself. So
Yeah, which is a good thing. And he's,
if there's a fight where he didn't look good in, he has no problem saying it. Or if he was hurt during a fight or whatever, he can just talk about it. It's not a big deal.
well, he's a mature guy.
And he's got nothing to be ashamed of. You know what I mean? So it's but it was that was a real treat. I mean, after I left his place, I'm driving back on the 405. It's crowded, but I swear my car was levitating. like I just had this Sugar Ray Leonard magic, and I literally floated back home. Everything was great, but all that stuff, you know, the whole rigmarole to just get there, you know, to go through all the agents and all that kind of stuff, and coordinate everybody else getting there, you know, on time and doing their job, from the photographer to the camera people and all. That takes a toll on you, you know, and that's what promoters are. That's what they do. They have to coordinate all this stuff, all these different factions that have to come together to make a live show, and a lot of fans don't realize that. They kind of figure, you know, they get some money and they sign a fighter and then everything takes care of itself. There's a whole lot that happens.
So how about
behind
Tom
the scenes.
Loeffler now, though?
But Tom's amazing.
No,
I mean, how about that Superfly
It's
show?
crazy. The Superfly show, which was like flawless.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. He did the whole thing, and he's so low key.
But he got so many people to come together. Is what I like. All the different. It's not just all the different promoters, but all those promoters have their own television contracts and stuff from their home countries. But he just works everything out.
So
you know?
he has
It's
a very
amazing.
small crew. You know, it's him and a couple people, and they really do a great job.
Yeah.
So he's got that show going. He's got the Triple G fight coming
What, he's
up.
got 360 promote
Then
their
he's got-
first club series at the Avalon.
First show at the
27th of this
Avalon.
month.
So he's got all that going on at once. He's like the king.
You got to be organized, and you got to have a good head on your shoulders, and you can't get crazy. That's the best thing about Tom. He doesn't get nutty.
He could just package that and sell it. He wouldn't have to work. I mean, it's crazy.
You know, a lot of people would pass on that because they don't want to be that even temperament. It's like their egos, they want to trump out, you know, and be loud and in your face and adversarial, and they thrive on that. But that's their choice. I mean, you know what I mean? Some people are wired like that, but if you gave them a choice, hey, you could take a sip of this Loeffler elixir and just be kind of cool and get along with everybody, they wouldn't want to do it. Like, I don't want to get along, you know. I want attention by being a loud asshole. You know what I'm saying? It's you know, unfortunately, I think that's just part of our culture.
See, no, but what happens is he's
Talking about American culture, Samir. You've probably noticed.
Oh yeah, I had my education.
Yeah,
last
okay,
week.
yeah.
Tom Loeffler grew up in L.A.
Yeah,
Bob Arum grew up in New York.
yeah.
You know, I have friends who grew up in New York, and they've been here for 40 years, and the New York comes out in them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, you don't just sort of talk it over with someone, you start
Right,
screaming.
you're wondering, hey, why is that guy getting thrown out? You know, it's like, because whatever, you know, he wasn't seated where he wanted to in the restaurant, or the soup was cold, or whatever.
It's all good. So was your driving good while you
My
were
driving
tired?
was great. No, I don't touch my phone. I mean, it's easy for me. I've got kids, so I hand my phone to them. So I'm like, hey, let me know if somebody texts me or whatever, and they don't let me know. They're doing their games or whatever, watching their stuff. But I just chill. The only thing the only distraction I have, if you can call it that, is the radio. But you know, I don't mess around with it or anything like that. So, but especially, you know, if I'm feeling tired, or if the more busy or stressed out I am, the more I pay attention to my driving, and the more I give myself time to get from A to B, so I don't feel like I'm in a rush, or that I'm not trying to rush. But even if I am late, I don't rush. I don't try to weave and get, you know,
You sort of like listen to yourself.
Yeah.
You're driving, or the phone rings or whatever, and you listen to what you've been talking about.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how often the phone will ring when you're in the car, and it's like, where were you?
You know, but
expecting this call.
The instinct.
As soon as I get in the car, then.
I used to go for it. You can't-
Yeah, I know. And I see everybody else doing it.
So running ring, you know, the way you're doing it now.
Yeah.
Is it taking more energy?
Yeah.
Yours?
Oh yeah, it's a lot. It's like you have to be aware of like 3 or 4 different time zones. Like, I got to be present and aware of right now, but I also have to think of what's happening a couple weeks from now in boxing, and does those events fall within the magazine cycle? Can we fit these results into the magazine before the magazine has to go to the printer? And then once it goes to the printer, how long is it printed? How long before it's mailed out to subscribers? When is it going to be in shelves? And you got to start on the next issue and all. You got a lot of planning, a lot of calendars and that kind of stuff. So I'm having to tighten up my organizational game, so to speak. But it's all good because it's, you know, we're selling subscriptions.
Yeah.
You know, and we got to come up with ways to even get it out there even more and make subscribing easier for people, where they just go to the website and they can subscribe to a single issue, or they can subscribe, you know, for 6 months, for a year, for 2 years, whatever. But we got a surprising number of 2-year subscriptions, like in the last 2 weeks, which means, okay, so whoever did that, they're expecting the ring to be around for 2 years. It's like, okay, so we must be looking pretty good here, you know. Like you have to like it if you want to get it for 2 freaking years, right? So those are good signs, you know. It's small steps, you know what I mean. But it's all good stuff, though.
Is it less expensive if you get 2 years versus 1 year?
Yeah, it's less expensive. Yeah.
And how do you get it out there? You know, that people know about the deals you have.
Well, I think we need to utilize social media better. I think, you know, I don't know if we have a budget for advertising or a marketing budget, but as soon as we do, we need to utilize that, you know. But you know, what I'm trying to do is trying to like reach out to people like the young media, like YouTubers and stuff, you know, Ellie Seckback and these folks, and have them talk, because they have their audiences, and there's a younger audience, and they're really out there. Radio Raheem and Ellie Seckback and Michael Montero and all these folks. I want to get them involved in the magazine. I want to get the magazine in their hands. I want them talking about it on all their shows, because they're like daily. They're not once a week. Like you and I are once a week in this Periscope. You know what I mean? They're every day, multiple times a day, and they put it out there. Samir knows.
I like Radio Raheem.
Yeah,
Great
Raheem's
guy.
very professional. He's paid his dues. He's been around. He's very talented.
He's great on camera too.
And he's excellent on camera.
Was he a fighter?
No, I think he's related to. There's boxers in his family, or maybe there's trainers in his family. I'm trying to think. You know, he might be somewhat related. He might be related to Johnny Bratton or somebody in his family. I think so, or somebody in his family. I can't remember what, but he used to be an actor. So he's real good on camera. He's a good-looking guy, but he takes a very kind of old school journalistic approach. So he's good. And Ellie is great in his own way, because he's just everywhere. He could be a little goofy, or just, you know, he's more informal, but it's good human interest stuff. He's very good. He's very positive. I love his attitude. And they've got a lot of subscribers.
See how many hits he's had?
I mean, millions. So I, you know, in lieu of being able to buy a commercial or something like that, you know, I want to utilize these people. And so you want to get young, smart, energetic people involved. And then I want to try to kind of do some like direct market selling of the magazine, as opposed to, okay, you go to a 7-Eleven or you go to Barnes & Noble and you go to the magazine rack and you hope you see it, like these like gyms and like stores where they specialize in combat sports gear and stuff like that. They should be selling the magazine.
Airports.
You know? Oh, airports. Yeah. We're gonna get back with the airports, definitely. In fact, I think what we're trying to do is, you know, make those like those life-size cutouts of like Canelo and Triple G, but have it involved with the magazine.
Yeah.
You know
and
what
also,
I mean?
you know, having the ratings.
Yeah.
Really helps.
Yeah, pushing the ratings and the titles, the world titles.
Yeah,
you know.
It's really good.
Yeah. So it was good that the Superfly main event was a ring championship, and of course Canelo, Triple G, the ring middleweight championship is on the line, but also I'm thinking the pound for pound status is on the line, because Triple G's #1 and Canelo's top 5, and I think, I could be wrong, but I think I know a number of ratings panel members. They're thinking that Kovalev is too high. He's at #4 right now. I saw Anson Wainwright say something in an email like, we need to drop Kovalev. He didn't look like top 5 pound for pound against this guy.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So if we drop Kovalev from 4, Canelo goes from 5 to 4. He advances, you know. And I think he's worthy. I mean, I think he's definitely top 5. Canelo is, you know.
Anyways.
He's not Terrence Crawford. He's not Vasyl Lomachenko. but he's fine.
He's good.
He's getting up. He's getting there.
Anyway, hey Amir, thanks for coming by.
Samir.
Yeah, no problem.
Samir.
My pleasure.
Do people call you Sam?
No.
You don't do a young American. There's no reason to Americanize it.
It's
Just call me Sammy.
Samir is easy.
It is. You're right. It's not hard. You know, they can do it. Yeah.
Anyway,
That's cool.
You got all your energy back, Dougie.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
All right.
like-
Well, jumping rope helps. You know. And it's not windy right now, so I'm not
Yeah.
feeling cold.
And he had a few days of rest.
Few days,
Sorry,
but
that's
this week is going to be crunch time to finish up the magazine, and we're also doing the official fight program for Canelo Triple G. So I'm going to be busy the next 2-3 weeks.
That's good.
Yeah, it is good.
Anyway, thanks for watching.
Hey,
we'll
thank
see you
you,
next
Samir.
week.
No problem.
Thanks,
All
Samir.
right.
Have a great week.
And let's
you.
talk about going to the summit, man.
Well,
Oh,
sure.
okay.
You have to talk to the right people.
Yeah, no, you just hitch a ride with Tom Loeffler. You're like, Tom, you going today? Yeah, I'm on my way. Come pick me up. You know, that's how you do it. That's how I always do it.
Okay.
You know? All right. Cool. Thank you.
No problem.